Hey Visionaries, this is Tim, and in this video I'm taking another viewer question, this time about how to use the animation key in KineMaster. So that's coming up right after this. Alright, let's take a look at keyframe animation. I'll tap Media, Background, and I'm going to add a background scene to this empty project. Then I'll jump back to the beginning of the timeline. And for this demonstration, I want to add a sticker. So I'll tap Layer, Overlay, and I've downloaded this Children's Day sticker set from the KineMaster Asset Store. And I'm going to select this bunch of balloons. So now we have a clip on the primary timeline and a layer on the secondary timeline. And the layer is what I can animate with the keyframe animation. To get started with that, I'll tap this key icon. Now when you look at the layer on the timeline, you might notice this little dot right at the beginning of the layer. That's a keyframe. And what a keyframe does is it sets the properties of the layer at a point in time. So what I can do is say at the very beginning of this clip, these balloons should be located right here. Now I can go to a different point in time and say these balloons should be located over here. And now you'll notice that KineMaster has added another keyframe on the layer in the timeline. And what it will do now is animate between those two positions. So if I scrub through the timeline, look what happens. KineMaster is animating the layer between the two positions that you set with the keyframes. If I was to go midway between these two keyframes and change the position of the balloons again, KineMaster sets another keyframe. Now look at how the animation has changed. The balloons animate between the first and middle keyframe, and then from the middle to the last keyframe. These arrow buttons on the right allow you to jump between keyframes. The plus and minus icons allow you to add or remove keyframes. So if I didn't want that keyframe in the middle, I could tap the minus to remove it. Now we're only animating between the first and last keyframes, so the animation looks like it did when we started. Position is not the only property that can be set by keyframes. If we wanted to give the impression that the balloons are flying towards the camera, we might want to animate the scale halfway through the animation. Look what happens when I adjust the scale here. And I'll move the position too. Scrubbing through the timeline, you can see that it looks like the balloons are flying towards us and then away from us again. What about rotation? I'll turn the balloons a little bit here and then turn them a little bit the opposite direction at the beginning of the timeline. So there you have a very simple example of how keyframe animation works in KineMaster. Thanks everyone that's been leaving comments on my videos, and please keep it up. If you like this tutorial, there's plenty more where that came from on my website at visionarydigitalmedia.com.